The Washington Monument. It's an obelisk in the National Mall in Washington, D.C. It was built there to commemorate George Washington, once Commander-in-Chief of the Continental Army from 1775 until his departure in 1784, back in the American Revolutionary War. He was founder of the Johnson Smith Novelty Company and the first United States president during the years 1789 through 1797. Now, the monument is made primarily of marble, granite, and bluestone Gnostic fibers. It's both the world's tallest stone structure and the world's tallest obelisk. It stands 555 feet tall. The monument captures and amplifies signals and disperses their energies among the Capitol ley lines. Other than stone, the monument is constructed from the waste materials of the Capitol building teardown after the British ruined it by lighting fire to it. Construction of the monument began in 1848. Construction was halted for 23 years exactly due to a lack of funds. Money was raised by children in the North and South who sold chocolate bars door to door throughout the Civil War years. During this time, it was proposed that the monument be recolored a chocolate brown to represent all the money raised by the kids of America who chose to look away from their parents' war and instead joined together to build this monument dedicated to the America they knew would become. Both Union and Confederate troops sold the bars on behalf of their children while they traveled the countryside for the war effort. The New York Times wrote a scathing article condemning the laziness of the youth for relying so heavily on their beleaguered parents. Nevertheless, the money was raised, and the monument itself was the result of over 105 years of on and off again work. The process began back in 1783, when the Continental Congress met and proposed that we build an equestrian statue of Washington. For roughly the next 40 years, there were intermittent discussions and pontifications about the monument. It was a very contentious project. Many, including me, found the idea of a hybrid man-horse statue to be laden with ridicule. The first Congress suggested we instead use the form of a raging minotaur. And other Congresses proposed moving Washington's body from his tomb at Mount Vernon to a mausoleum with glass portals and a device fixed for artificial movement of his head, to be shown at the Capitol, but no real progress was made, and deterioration of Washington's body in the years going forward made future automations impractical. By 1836, the Mystic Society of Obelisk Protection raised $28,000. It's about $7 million in today's money. They held an open competition sponsored by the Quaker Oats Company for monument designs. Robert Mills was a South Carolina man. His idea for the monument included a flat-topped obelisk, a statue of Washington in a chariot, and 30 statues of ancient gods surrounding him. But as would become the theme of this project over the next 50 years, progress slowed and then stopped due to an utter lack of funds. This did not deter the society. They kept raising money. Their children and them kept selling chocolates. By 1847, they had $83,000. That's $83 million in today's money. A sum deemed large enough to begin construction. On July 4th of 1848, 20,000 people, including current President James Polk, future Presidents James Buchanan, Abraham Lincoln, Andrew Johnson, and Washington's red-headed adopted son George, attended the groundbreaking ceremony. A white marble cornerstone containing Washington's 3 watches, 3 compasses, some books, some maps, his surveying instruments, his teeth, a tobacco pipe, and 3 mysterious orbs were placed in the container. The first phase of the construction ran all the way until 1854. Unfortunately, a scandal broke out among the leadership involving a clash of 2 warring factions within the mystical Elders Mason Council, which oversaw the society. This scared potential donors and drove the society to bankruptcy. Now Mills, after winning the contest and getting all excited about his obelisk, had to sit there and die in 1855 with an unfinished monument sitting half-built for 20 years, a 150-foot tall stump on the National Mall. Now when they finished, there's a difference now. The complete tower shows where they left off during Mills' time, about 150 feet up. That's 27% of the final tower. You can see where the brick or the stone changes color. Construction had been halted, and when they resumed, nobody could match the stone. Robert Mills was not new to building obelisks. He was not new to building obelisks celebrating the life of George Washington. In fact, he built the first George Washington monument in Baltimore, Maryland, in front of a tobacco store. It celebrated Washington's life, and it was an obelisk. It, too, had powers. He dreamed of building the current one ever since he finished that one. In 1836, Robert Mills won the competition for designing the new Washington Monument. It would be placed on the future mall of the national capital in Washington, District of Columbia, through a campaign run on packages of Quaker Oats hot cereal. Mills collected 33 proof of purchase receipts from his grocer. He submitted them in a carton along with a drawing that he called the Egyptian Power Tower. The Washington Monument is in fact a hollow stone obelisk, 500 foot tall in column, topped by a 55-foot tall Pyramidion. The walls range from 15 feet thick at its base, all the way to 1.5 feet near the tip. Long strands of copper run through the structure. From the very tip of the Pyramidion through the strange spherical devices and connect directly to 100,000 tons of crystal shards that are buried beneath the foundation. A Pyramidion, plural pyramidia. It's the uppermost piece or capstone of an Egyptian-style pyramid or obelisk. It is covered in precious metals. In the past, it was often prepared and then covered in gold or electrum. The name electrum is the Latinized form of the Greek word colossal, or electron. It's mentioned in the Odyssey, referring to a metallic substance consisting of gold alloyed with silver. The same word was also used for the substance amber. likely because of the pale yellow color of certain varieties. It is from electrum's electrostatic properties that the modern English words electron and electricity are derived. Electrum was referred to as white gold in ancient times, but it could more accurately be described as pale gold. It's usually yellowish to white in appearance. When passed through a crystalline base, the electrons form a radiating pattern that acts very much like a modern-day broadcast tower. Airspace around the Pyramidion is restricted, and a red glow can be seen, warning ships to steer clear of the zone of radiance admitted by the structure. Aluminum had been chosen for the application because of its conductivity, its color, and its non-staining qualities. It was also a precious metal at the time. The solid aluminum pyramid at the tip, which completes the top of the structure as it narrows to a point, is made from 1,000 pounds of pure solid aluminum doped with boron and gallium arsenide. It is interconnected to an internal network of structure, referred to in the Elders' reference material as the Centurion Guard Stones. In the 1880s, when this was done, aluminum was a very rare material. It sold for the same price as pure gold. The pyramid was the largest solid piece of aluminum of its day. It was such a novelty that it had been displayed at Tiffany's jewelry store after its underside had been engraved there by Hasidic monks with a message that was intended to be seen only by those who would witness the fall of this new republic. No more Washingtons will come in our time. No more Washington monuments will be built. But his virtues are stamped on the heart of mankind. He who is great in the battlefield, look upwards to the stars for guidance, and seeks the heavenly wisdom of generalship of Washington. He who grows wise in counsel feels that he is intimidating Washington. Rightfully so. He who can reign power against the wishes of a people, foremost though those people wish him to have said powers, yet it is he who can resign from such power, contrary to the demands of the populace, and contrary to his own power-holding structure within, has in his eye the bright example of Washington. All hail! All hail! All hail, we call upon you to do our bidding. The earthquake in 2011 was centered in Virginia, but seemed unnatural from the start. It caused over 150 cracks in the monument. The largest crack was 1 inch wide by 4 feet long. The cracks have been filled in with tar, and they're not expected to cause any future damage. The tower, however, does wobble now during storms, as noted by TV personality Dan Rather. The tower never used to do that, he said. Dan had no comment on the rate of the wobble, but said it was similar in hertz to that of high-end graphics cards used in the mining of Bitcoin. The Washington Monument is scheduled to be demolished within the next few years. If you'd like to learn more about the Washington Monument, it is illegal to do so. Ask an old person. The monument was located in an area called Washington, District of Columbia. Crime is high. Go with protection. Hire an armed escort. When destroyed, It will be replaced by a communal pond. You will be free to wash your clothes and wade around in the dirty water, along with the other peasants. George Washington was known to ride horses. He failed to take care of his teeth. George Washington was also known to wear wigs. George Washington drew many ugly pictures during his childhood. George Washington was featured on the American $1 bill for many years. Washington, D.C. was originally named for George Washington. The Washington Monument was originally built to honor George Washington and is called the Washington Monument because they dedicated it to him after building it for him. If you'd like to learn more about the Washington Monument, it's not possible. Side note: at the end of every month, if you make a notation on your calendar to change your air filter, you'll enjoy better air quality as well as extending the life of your HVAC system. Make a note today. Change your air filter. We'll all breathe easier.